This is just gonna be me saying, oh my gosh, I love all the Sandersides characters. They're all so good. And it's true, all of the Sandersides characters, for bad or good, they all have good and bad parts of them, and they're all so great. Mwah. Thomas Sanders is a gift.
Didn't I make you laugh? Didn't I make you smile?
What is up, everybody?
Hi friends, it's Rory, and today I'm very excited because I made a tag. The reason I made this tag was because the most recent Sandersides video came up, and I love Sandersides. As you can see from this jacket, I unironically made myself because I wanted to be anxiety for Halloween. And I was like, I wonder if there's a Sandersides book tag, and I didn't find one. Watch there be one. I'm just dumb and I couldn't find one, but it doesn't matter because I made one anyways. So this is my book tag, the Sandersides book tag. I hate myself. And I'm really excited because I love Sandersides, and I know a lot of people love Sandersides, and I want to talk about books based on Sandersides characters, so yeah. So this tag has 7 questions based on the 7 confirmed main characters that we have so far, and then 1 optional question based on a character that hasn't technically been in Sandersides, but I wanted to be in Sandersides and I love him so much. So yeah, let's get started. Naturally, the first question is gonna be Thomas.
Okay, so you can give me imaginary sheet music, but when it comes to a sweater, imagination's not good enough, guy.
A character that you personally identify with. Now this is gonna be no surprise if you've been on my channel for even like a week, or watched more than one of my videos. Molly from the Upside of Unrequited. Molly is me. That's the point. Molly is me. The things that she does in here, the things that she thinks in here, they are so closely aligned to things that I have done and I have thought that by the end of this like conflict that she has in this book, I was crying because I was just feeling so many emotions over her. And so I gave this book 5 stars because despite the flaws that it has, Molly as a character made me, like, I identified with her so much that I couldn't give it anything less than 5 stars. Okay, so next up is Logan.
Oh my goodness. Patton is being too strict. It's not me for once? What does that mean? Am I cool? Does this make me cool? Am I being cool?
Who is fantastic, and I feel he doesn't get as much love as he truly deserves. So the question that I picked for Logan is because he's logical and he's all about, you know, getting Thomas to think logically, but he also takes on a teacher role, and he talks about trying to get Thomas to a more like educational and scholarly way of thinking. So I thought of this, and the question is, a book you originally had to read in school that you enjoyed so much you would read it again outside of school. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by, I believe it's pronounced Rebecca Skloot. Holy crap! This book you wouldn't think would be good because, like, whoa, but then it turns out to be 1, so well written, 2, absolutely amazing, like, story, and then 3, just like it makes you feel feelings, and it's great. Basically, it's the story of a woman named Henrietta Lacks, and she had a cancer, tried to like take some of the cancer cells out, and unfortunately she passed away. But the cells that they took from her, they used for a medical study, and those cells have continued to reproduce to this day. And the reproduction of those cells have been used in a whole bunch of like medical things like vaccines, and Henrietta Lacks never really gave permission for this to happen. And unfortunately, the doctors who took her cells in the first place never gave any of the money that they got, any of the recognition that they got back to Henrietta Lacks's family. So it's kind of in 3 parts. So there's actually the story of Henrietta, and then there's the story of the cells and what they're used for and all that jazz. Then there's the story of the author meeting with Henrietta's family and doing her own research for the actual book. And it just like goes back and forth between these 3 storylines, and it's beautifully written. I love this book so much. I could never talk more love about it. So the next character we have is Roman.
Okay, time out for thee and time out for thee. Focus on issues or focus on...
I love Roman. The question I have for Roman, probably gonna seem really stereotypical, but it's a book or series that makes you overall feel more creative. The Raven Cycle, with my very fancy custom covers. Just like there's something about this series that makes me overall feel in a better mood to create. Like, when I read this book, I play with makeup more, and I play with my Sims more, and I have more intricate storylines on my Sims because everyone knows that The Sims is just the adult version of Barbies. And like, I want to draw more. This book makes me want to draw. I just get in a creative headspace, and it's one of the reasons why I love this book so much. The next character is Patton.
Please stop yelling at me. Okay, I'm sorry. It's okay, I don't know if I'm cut out for this whole lawyer thing. Of course you are. I mean, yeah, you cracked under pressure, but nobody's perfect. The important thing is you're trying your best. Wow. Thanks, kiddo. Kiddo? I'm old enough to be your father. Oh!
Everyone's favorite dad joke machine. The question I have for Patton is a parental figure that makes you feel happy and that you love to death. Let's talk about Sally Jackson from Percy Jackson. Sally is the best. Not even talking about the musical, which she's fantastic. Strong is one of the best songs in the musical, don't at me. But just like in general, she's so lovely and wonderful, and every time she pops up, I just feel happy. Her relationship with Percy is just so good and fantastic, and like, when she showed up briefly in Trials of Apollo, I was absolutely in love with it, and the fact that Apollo was like, wow, this woman is beautiful. I can completely understand why Poseidon liked her. But then he hangs out with them for a day, and he's like, oh my gosh, this woman is fantastic, not just because she's gorgeous, just because she's amazing. And I feel that way. I am Apollo in that. Sally Jackson is one of the best parents of all time in a book series. Now, naturally, the next character is going to be Virgil.
You called?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, we're just chatting.
All right. Just be careful what you talk about, because I'm listening.
Hi, Virgil.
So, Thomas.
Virgil is my favorite character. I love him to death. And I've recently rewatched the entire Sandersides series. I completely forgot, because I am so in love with Virgil as he is now, how not great he was in the beginning. He's really rude. So the question for Virgil is a book or a series that started out rough, but you grew to love. So my choice for that is the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson. I enjoyed the second Truly Devious book more, but the first one, I gave it 3 stars, and it was fine. I continued the series and I really enjoyed the second one. But the first one, I had a lot of trouble in the beginning. I started and stopped that book a lot. And for a while I considered DNFing it. Beginning is slow and kind of boring, but the end is killer. Fantastic ending each time. So yeah, it started out rough, and then in the end it got much better, and then even better in the sequel. Even though the sequel does a little bit have the same issue as the first one, where it starts out a bit slow, the second one, it's slow for a much shorter time, and even during the slow part, I really enjoyed what was going on, whereas in the first one, the slow bit was just come on, can we just can we go? And I considered not reading it. we're gonna get into some of the newer characters. And the first one up is my slimy boy, Deceit.
Ooh, said with the confidence of a man who has his hands stuck in the cookie jar in a cookie factory, and his pants are down, and they're on fire. We get it.
Every single time Deceit has been on the show has been so good. I'm so glad that him as a character came in and brought the story to life. Chef's kiss. Question for Deceit is a book / series that you were lied to, either through the synopsis or what other people on BookTube or on Goodreads said about the book, and it just came out and it was a total lie. And this could be one of two ways, like either it's a book that you thought you were only going to like and then you ended up loving it, or the approach I'm gonna do, something that you thought you were going to like and then viciously disliked. For me, that's The Young Elites by Marie Lu. It's been a couple of years since I read it, but to this day I'm still disappointed because I was lied to by so many booktubers who talked about how this was a good series, and I was like, oh, yeah, that seems like something I would enjoy. A morally great character in a secret society, like, that's trying to, like, take down the Inquisition? That seems like something I'd really enjoy. But I was lied to because none of the characters are morally great. They're all just stupid. They make bad choices. They're really, really boring. Like, I'm surprised I finished that book. And the only reason I did was because I was listening to it on audiobook and I actually paid for that audiobook. It's not what I was expecting. I guess it is in the most bare sense that, like, it is a character who joins a secret society who's trying to get rid of the Inquisition. But, like, I was lied to because people said it was good and it wasn't there. That's what it goes down to. Don't like The Young Elite, never read the sequel. I've heard other people who didn't like the first one saying that the sequel is much better, but I love myself, so I'm not gonna read it. If I gave the first one 1 star, I'm not gonna read the second one. The newest character, Remus.
What is your deal? What is my deal? Bitch, what is your deal?
The beautiful rat man. I love him. Remus, a book or series that is kind of gross and kind of bad, but you just can't help but love it. Like, you see it and you're like, and, like, you tell people about it and they're like, but every time you read it, you just like, man, I love this series. If you've been on my channel for like 0.5 seconds, you should know that it's the All for the Game series. Oh my gosh, this book series is garbage. But once again, I'm garbage for it. I love it so much. I love it. And it's like gross and there's like explicit torture scenes, which is, but I love it. I love Neil and how stupid he is, and I love Andrew and how just like stupid he is, and I love Neil and Andrew and their stupid relationship, and I love Kevin and how obsessed he is with Exie, and I love Exie even though the sport makes 0 sense, and I love the girls, every single one of them, and Matt is so good. It's garbage. I know, it's bad, it's gross, it's smelly, and it's one of my favorite series, and I'm not ashamed of that. I love this book series so much. And now for the optional question, because I'm just putting this out into the universe in the hopes that somewhere, somehow, Thomas Sanders will hear this and he'll actually put this character in Sandersides instead of just in his Instagram stories, and that is Sleep, also known by the fans as Remy.
Fall. It's the best time of year. Why? Because I'm totally at my best, babes. Lower temps, perf blanket weather, and there's just like a smell in the air that makes you want to lay down for 3 hours in the middle of the day. Pumpkin spiced seasonal depression. I live for it. So let's just go ahead and call it a night, girls, which coincidentally arrives around 6 p.m. Get in, bitch. We're going napping.
please, Thomas Sanders, if you somehow see this, please put Remy in Sanders' sides. Please, I want him in Sanders' sides, even if it's for just 5 seconds. So Remy is asleep, naturally. And so the question for Remy, that is, again, optional, you don't have to do it if you do decide to do this tag, is a book series that you feel is slept on. Hi. Anyone who has been with me for at least a little while, are you surprised? No, I talk about this whenever I can. The Gay Teen's Guide to Defeating a Siren is a gift of a series, and more people need to read it. I check Cody Wagner's Twitter every day in the hopes of word of a sequel, or a third one, whatever it's called. It's so good. It's so good. I read both the first one and this one, and it's a pretty decent book. I read them both in like 6 hours. In the best way to describe it, I should not have read the series in a place where my life could be in danger at some point, maybe. Because I couldn't stop reading this book. The series is so slept on. It should be more, it should get, more people should read it. That's it. It's so good. It's so fantastic. The characters are great. The twist ending in the second one, I only saw it coming like 2 sentences before it happened, because it was just like completely out of my realm of like thinking, and it's so good. If you have not read this, you can get this for free on Kindle Unlimited. Get it. It's worth it. I'm telling you, it is worth it. This has been my Sanders Sides tag, and watch Sanders Sides. That's if you haven't watched Sanders Sides, watch it. It's great. It's fantastic. Love it. All the characters are good. Everything is great. If you decide to do this tag, please let me know. I would love to see your videos. As always, I hope you had a great time with me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. There's a link down below to where you can register to vote so that your voice can be heard in our upcoming elections. In the meantime, have a great day. Bye!